What's up, book nerds? My name is Tara, and today I am doing the New York Times By the Book tag. This tag was created by Marie Berg, whose info I will leave down below. And I wasn't tagged by anyone to do this video, but I really liked the simplicity of it while also giving some really interesting insight into what people read. So I thought that I would give it a try. Question number 1, what book is on your nightstand right now? Right now, I'm working on one of the Book Riot Read Harder challenges, which is to read a book aloud to someone else. So Austin and I went to Barnes & Noble and I let him pick out any book he wanted, and I would read the entire book aloud to him. And he picked Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. So it is a little long for reading aloud, so we're doing one chapter at a time, and that's why it's on my nightstand. Number 2, what is the last truly great book that you read? Looking back through my Goodreads, it's actually been a very long time since I've read something truly great in my mind, even with among the 5-star reads. But for this, I would have to say The Bunker Diary by Kevin Brooks, because I just thought he had masterful storytelling, and the very fact that he took this somewhere I did not expect leaves it as one of the most memorable books from probably the past 18 months in my mind. Number 3, if you could meet any writer, dead or alive, who would it be and what would you want to know? There are a lot of people that I would like to say for this, but I think the easiest is J.K. Rowling, because I probably will never get the chance to meet her. So I would take that opportunity of wish fulfillment to get to do that. And I don't know that I would want to know anything specific. I would just really more want to be able to have a one-on-one chat with her and get to say that I met her. Number 4, what book might we be the most surprised to find on your shelf? I like to read books that make me mad because I think it's important to read about points of view that are very different from my own. So people might be very surprised to learn that in my audiobook history and my ebook history, I do have several books by Ann Coulter, Bill O'Reilly, and Glenn Beck. That's not to say that I necessarily agree with those viewpoints, but I do read them just to see what's going on the other side of the political sphere. Number 5, how do you organize your personal library? I've organized my bookshelves in a lot of different ways, but currently I have it organized by genre, and it's literally just everything is thrown on the shelf that fits in that genre. It's not alphabetical by author or title or anything like that. And then up here, usually in the front, I'll keep books that I want to read or that are the most pressing TBR books. But, you know, as a librarian, I guess I kind of rebel against having to put things in alphabetical order or have some sort of really standardized system. So I like that I can just be more about aesthetics on my shelf than about anything else, because I know where to find the things that I want, and that's all that really matters. Number 6, what books do you want to read but haven't gotten around to yet, and what books are you embarrassed to not have read yet? The book I've always wanted to read but haven't yet gotten around to is Lolita, because this seems like something just like creepy people and beautiful writing that's right up my alley, and I don't know, it's just been on my TBR for a very long time. But the book that I'm most embarrassed to not have read is The Scarlet Letter, because I think everybody else in 11th grade English read this except for my class, and I feel like I've missed out on just like an important high school reading experience. Even if I would have hated it like everybody else did, I still am embarrassed that I've never read it. Number 7, disappointing, overrated, and just not good. What book did you feel you were supposed to like but didn't? And what is the most recent book that you put down without finishing? The book I felt I was supposed to like, or supposed to like more than I did, was The Secret History by Donna Tartt. After watching a lot of other people's reviews on this, I think it's probably because I read it when I'm 31 rather than when I was in college, because it seems like college was really the time to connect with the characters. The most recent book that I've put down without finishing is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I do plan to come back to it, but I've been trying to read that book for a year and it just hasn't really gripped me yet. Number 8, what kinds of stories are you drawn to and what do you stay clear of? I'm definitely drawn to stories about women, and especially complex women. So women who are murderers or sociopaths or going through some sort of really tough life issues, or like, I think that's why I like dystopian literature so much. I'm also drawn to books about boarding schools, which I've talked a lot about. There's something about that element to giving autonomy to adolescents that I find very interesting. As for books that I steer clear from, I generally don't like fantasy. In particular, if there's talking animals, I don't want to have anything to do with it. And that doesn't mean that I can't often find a fantasy book that I like, or that I find other elements from it that draw me into the story. But generally, I do like my stories to be based in realism and in the real world. Number 9, if you could have the president read one book, what would it be? As a person wholeheartedly dedicated to education, I would have to recommend any of Diane Ravitch's books. The ones that I've read are Reign of Error and The Death and Life of the Great American School System. But generally, all of Diane Ravitch's books talks about how the government is really killing education by making it become a national endeavor, and all of our standardization and the testing and where the money goes and who the money is coming from. Those are all issues that I think a president needs to be more aware of from the standpoint of somebody who's very knowledgeable and passionate about education, as I believe Diane Ravitch is. Number 10, what do you plan to read next? Well, you can't really see it in my shot, but right over here, there's a stack of books that is my most pressing TBR. And if I had to pick one of the books, it would probably be this one, which is Only Ever Yours by Louise O'Neill. It is a YA book. It is dystopian. It is feminist in nature. I think it's been compared to A Handmaid's Tale. So that right there is enough for me. So this is one that I have pretty high up that I'm going to try to get to next. So that is the New York Times About the Book tag, and I very much enjoyed just talking about more of these just basic things about my reading life, what books I've loved, what I don't like, what I've put down, what I want to read next. So if you are intrigued by the simplicity of this tag, then I tag you to do this next, because I've been trying to get away a little bit from tag videos, but this is one I've really enjoyed watching from other people. So if I follow you on BookTube or you follow me on BookTube, I definitely want to see what your thoughts are and your answers are to the questions